Hello and welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to the last round of the IRL F3 Championship in Season 7. We are here for round 12 in Brazil, well, this beautiful track, and it's your commentating duo with me, Felix Negua, and Jack Yates, back at it again. Hello and welcome, Jack.
Hello, I'm very excited. Brazil, always fantastic racing. Also, we got some donuts happening from Ross Denham and Callum Anderson, which is lovely to see. But Brazil, always great racing, potential for wet weather. I'm very excited for this season finale.
So am I, and we've got nothing to lose, have we? I mean, no decisions to be made. Still, everything's pretty much sorted. We've got our drivers' champion by Callum Anderson. We've got our constructors' champions with Alfa Romeo, and so we've got really nothing to lose this race. I think we are going to see a lot of good and aggressive racing, but hopefully the drivers will keep it clean, as yeah, like you said, Brazil is such a great track, and also there could be some rain playing into the race as well. I mean, Brazil, it's not that unlikely to rain.
Yeah, it rained yesterday in F1. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be in F2, but certainly Brazil is always an interesting track. Wet weather makes it just all that more interesting, but F3 never disappoints, so no matter what track, I think it's always going to be interesting.
Yeah, and we've got P1 and 2 in the championship with some donuts with Callum Anderson and Tim Brewster. That's good to see to finish the season off. I heard Callum Anderson wants to do a last to first challenge today. He is on his wheel, he said. So I'm pretty sure he was racing on pad all season long. So that's something new for us then, as we've got the first few laps being set, and it's Tom Spicer currently in P1 in his Haas, just less than a tenth in front of Shane Calais in his Toro Rosso today. He's got a teammate of a reserve driver actually, which is Enzo Dutoit. He is replacing no one really, because we haven't really got a second Toro Rosso seat. Also, another reserve for today, Invictus, otherwise known as Riley Manning, and then Maurice Apple in the Williams. That's actually a full reserve team, together with that guy who is still in the pits, which would be Ivan King. And yeah, apart from that, we've got a pretty filled up grid, 20 drivers. That's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Today I'm not going to put any predictions down because F3's too unpredictable. I've decided after Adam Corrigan won a race last week. Felix missed it. I mean, oh, there goes Invictus. That is a corner that's going to be lethal. The final braking zone. Oh, we reset the track. Yeah. Except the final braking zone, I think that's going to be a big talk point for this race, because I've seen a lot of people lose their rear around there. I did it yesterday during my first or second quali lap. I just sent it into the grass as Adam Corrigan goes provisional pole by 4 tenths, but I am going to try and predict a quali time. I think a mid-8, maybe. I think we'll see a mid-8.
Yeah, I think a mid-8 is a good call. I'd go for that as well. Maybe even a low 8. I think we could see something like that. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Many drivers are probably just going to race here for fun today. Like I said, nothing is really to play for anymore. But I know some people want to finish this season on a high. Pretty sure Adam Corrigan is one of them. Even though he doesn't feel too comfortable around Brazil, he said. And also Maurice Herpel, which we are seeing right here. I was talking to him before the race, and he said he wants to finish the season off on a high as well. So maybe some points for him would be nice. He hasn't scored that many times. He came close to a podium in his first ever race, but apart from that, his season wasn't the best. But it was his first ever league racing league, or just league. The league racing was not really necessary to say, but I think it's still a solid season for him. He scored some points, which was his goal, and we're just watching Tom Spicer coming across the line for his second flying lap of this qualifying session.
I would like to just say that I feel F3 has got a lot of potential for the next game. Seeing some drivers have really kind of come out of their shell this season. I think for the F1 2020 game, we could be seeing a really heated fight for the top of the championship, with so many drivers showing so much potential, such as maybe Adam Corrigan or Maurice Herpel, like you said, and then You got people like Shane Keller, who's always kind of at the top and never really quite getting there. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potential in F3. It kind of depends on who puts in the most work. Because I know Callum Anderson has done a lot of practice before to try and get to the level he's at, and look how it paid off. He's won the championship. So I think that if someone for the next game puts in enough work in this division, they're going to win the title next year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, we've got so many young drivers as well going for it, and which are not, that familiar with league racing. We had a breakthrough victory from Tim Dalens this season. I mean, what a through and through weird career Tim has had in IRL. To be honest, I mean, he's come so close so many times to a race win, as he goes provisional pole right now, and then finally he got his breakthrough win in Silverstone, which we were commentating over, I think. Am I right? Am I wrong?
I don't think I was my first.
Then it was Sondra.
I think was Germany.
Yeah, then it was Sondra still. So Sondra and me, we witnessed it. We saw Thomas McIver winning the Monaco Grand Prix. Out of all tracks, he managed to get it together in Monaco and win that race, which was really good to see as well. And I think we've got a lot of really, really good drivers on this grid, and like you said, for the next game, I think it could be really, really interesting. Paul Farding as well, he definitely wanted to go for the championship. He wasn't able to get it. Right now he's a provisional pole by half a tenth on the mediums. That is a really good time from him, as we have got many people who have not even set a single lap so far though.
Yeah, with Paul Farthing, I find he's got really good quality pace. Like, you can see it, he's definitely really good in quality, but sometimes in the race it just doesn't quite come through for him, if you know what I mean. It just doesn't quite work, doesn't quite happen.
Yeah, and we've got a retirement. I don't think that's
in the
planned one. No, that he's crashed out. He's actually crashed out, yeah.
I can't know yellow.
Out of turn 2.
Oh yeah,
he has
I've
put
just
it
seen
into
that.
the wall, and then we've got another Alpha off the track. I think though that is Callum Anderson, who might be doing some donuts. I think I just missed it as I tried to find his car. He's going for another run of donuts.
Oh yeah.
He deserved it though. He has had a great season, and took a well-deserved championship with him. And Sondra just texted me, "Good luck, mate, for this final commentating session of the season." Gotta say, I'm a bit sad that it all ends. I had quite a lot of fun. I didn't enter this commentary season with such high expectations, to be honest, after Brandon Glover was commentating the first round and has said F3 was the most boring division. And you guys all out on track showed us that it's exactly the opposite. I mean, I can't remember a dull race I've had to commentate on. So that was great, and it was so much fun. And I really loved commentating, and I'm hoping to be back for commentary next season as well.
Yeah, I mean, IRL F3, this has opened the floodgates for me in commentating. I mean, I was seen as a boring commentator before, but now I've done IRL F3 and it's never a boring race, so how can I be a boring commentator when there's racing going on like this? Now I'm doing commentary 4 times a week, and I'm having a great time. But hopefully I'm invited back to commentate next season, hopefully with you in F3, F1, F2, depends on where I'm put myself as a racer, but yeah, F3, never a dull race. I've only done, I think this is my 4th race commentating on F3. So, never a dull race, always fantastic. I've had a great time, unpredictable victories. I mean, I've never been able to predict a race correctly, and that's what I love, because I just never expect what's going to happen. And I'll go on about it for the rest of my life. Adam Corrigan won a race. I mean, I fanboyed last weekend because that surprised me. I was a very proud man, but that just shows the unpredictability of F3 and how much enjoyment there is in it. Because it's not always that one standout driver. I guess Callum Anderson he did well in the championship. He won it, of course, quite, I wouldn't say dominantly. It was quite comfortably, but he had challenge along the way from people like Paul Farthing, Tim Brazilians. So I think we lost Shane. That's not good. But the championship wasn't dull. It wasn't dull all the way through, and despite when the championship's over, we've still got that good racing, and that's what I love about F3. It's never predictable, and it always gives us a good show.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, and I mean, Callum Anderson really had to fight for it. He was so many times at the back of the grid in the race itself when something has happened to him, and he was always able to somehow fight back and you know, be so consistent. That's what gave him the championship in the end. And then all the other drivers were struggling throughout some races as well, but it seems like Callum just got the most out of every single one of them, as Tim goes fastest right now, goes on provisional pole, 2 tenths in front of Billy Mossop.
Yeah, it's good luck from him, so I still think it's kind of looking around the mid-8s if we're lucky, except maybe pushing that up to the high 8s. I'm not sure how much more people can improve, and there's kind of stuff in the back that I was about to start commenting on that, but that was planned, so it's fine. But yeah, this race, Brazil is always so interesting. I hate driving the track, I hate driving it, I'm awful, but I love watching it and I love commentating over it because it's just never boring. You can send it in many corners, and I've never seen a dull league race around this track. So full 20 driver grid, IRL F3, what's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, this could be really one of the most exciting league races we've had this season. I mean, no one's got anything to lose, but I can't really even put out one particular race because pretty much all of them were so good. One of them was sadly cut short in Bahrain, where it kicked off so well for me personally and for Sondre as well. When we started commentating for F3, and it was starting so well, it was sadly cut short due to a session error where everyone was kicked from the session. But Jack, when I take a look at the pole positions so far this season, we've had Ivan Brito taking pole position in the first race. He's not a driver for IRL anymore, sadly. Then we've had Paul Farthing taking pole twice, 2 times in a row in Bahrain and Spain. Then in Monaco was Thomas McIver, who eventually also took the win. Then Paul Farthing came back once again in Canada, took another pole. Callum got his first pole of the season only in round 6, but at that point he already had 3 race wins, so that just shows that it's that is Riley Manning into the wall, and I actually saw that. I was looking at my list of pole positions and race wins here, but I saw that in the corner of my eye. That didn't look too healthy, but yeah, he will be starting at a maximum of P8 in this race.
We've also just lost Enzo de Toy, I think that was.
Oh yeah, sorry, not Ivan King. Ivan King is in the pits right now.
Oh no, that was Riley Manning, sorry, I got people mixed up. I'm not sure where he retired, but he's gone too, so...
No, that's what I meant, Riley Manning. Are you talking about Enzo de Toy? Sir Hamrick is Enzo de Toy, just for your information. So we don't get anything mixed up. Oh, it's fine. It's... But what I wanted to say is Callum stepped up his qualifying game more or less towards the end of the season. He's achieved 4 poles this season. Paul Farthing has had 4 as well. We had 1 from Ross Denholm, we had 1 from Thomas McIver and Ivan Brito. And Paul Farthing looks like he wants to get his 5th pole of the season. And with that, the most poles of this season so far is Reese Marge, only goes 15th fastest. But I gotta say, Jack, the grid looks very, very close. I mean, between P1 and P12, there's only 6 tenths.
I know, it's ridiculously close. That's why I also enjoy Brazil, because, I mean, just look how close they are. It's always really good, but I think that kind of shows something for Paul Farthing. He's really good in qualifying. I mean, he's nearly got half of the season on pole. Except in the race, he just didn't quite come off as quick as he seemed in the quali. So, I think it's a bit of disappointment for Paul Farthing, because he shows so much promise with his qualifying. But in the races, it just never quite happened for him. But that was almost a complete opposite with Callum Anderson. He wouldn't have the best quali. He'd still be up there, but it wasn't the best quali. But then he'd win the races, and that's what matters. Qualifying doesn't matter, you get no points for that. But the race is where it all counts.
Yeah, I remember we both talked about Lance Stroll Fahrenheit that he's not really good in quali, but in the race he's shot some really good pace, even if some people doesn't want to admit. But Lance Stroll is a really good driver in the race. Actually, his pace is actually pretty good, but it's just quali that doesn't help him all too much. It seems like Adam Corrigan is the fastest man in Sector 2 right now. We've got more yellow flags. Reese March has retired, but we're waiting for Adam Corrigan to come across the line right before the end of the session. He goes provisional pole by 0.3 of a second.
That's a really good time from Adam.
Yes, indeed.
He's not going to be able to set another time, but can someone get close to that?
We will have to wait and see. Tim Brewster-Dahlins, we're about to find out if he can do a better lap than this. Billy Mossam is not able to go quicker than Adam. Is Tim able to go quicker? No, he is not. He can't even improve on his own time. Doesn't have enough ERS or time to do a proper second or next lap. Maurice is about to come across the line. He's actually 7th right now. That would be by far his best qualifying of the season. Can he go even quicker? No, he can't. I think he invalidated. Or is he going for another run? He might be. But Tom Spicer doesn't have any more fuel, I think. So he pits. But what can Paul Farthing do? He's still on a lap. We've got many people finish now. Tim Bruce-Dahlins has invalidated, so he won't improve. Billy Mossam not on a lap. Paul Farthing is on a lap. Adam Corrigan not on a lap. So Paul Farthing seems to be the only one that can beat Adam Corrigan for pole position right now. Will he take his 5th pole of the season, or will Adam Corrigan have his good streak of good results continue now in this quali session? It looks like Paul Farthing is about to snatch pole position on his last lap. He comes across the line and he takes his 5th pole of the season by 0.3 of a second.
I mean, we were saying Adam Corrigan had a good time, but then Paul Farthing decided to have none of that and went almost as quick as my TT time, so that's kind of concerning. But Adam Corrigan, he's starting on 3 lap pole softest, same with Tom Spicer. Then you got Maurice, he's on 2 laps. Tim, he's on 2 laps. So people doing more qualifying times on the same set of tyres than I would be expecting, but you know, maybe it works. Also, rain. I've just noticed that Luke Baker's, he's on the hard tyres. You don't really want to be on the hard tyres on this track because his tyres is kind to your tyres. He just licks them lightly, kind of dabs them. It does nothing. So, rain. I want to talk about that. I think it's likely. I think we'll see rain at some point during this race. But I also think a safety car is very likely too. So, 2 strategy kind of calls. I imagine that's going to change this race, because if you don't go soft medium.
Quickly have to run through the order. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You can go on. But Paul Farthing takes his 5th pole of the season in the last race. Adam Corrigan, another great result. This time in quali, goes 2nd fastest. Billy Mossam takes 3rd on the grid. Ross Denholm will start from P4. Good qualifying run from the Renault guys. Tim Bruzane is a P5. Tom Spicer in P6. Maurice Heppel with his season best qualifying result in P7. Riley Manning, meanwhile, in P8 in front of Luke Baker and Shane Calais in 10th. And now you can go on. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to run through that first top 10 starting positions.
That's okay, but like I was saying, the strategy around this track, if you don't go soft medium, you're broken, in my opinion. But soft medium is the way to go. Anything else probably isn't. It is raining! Oh, I'm excited now. I don't know why I sound like that, but now I'm excited.
Like, qualifying doesn't matter at all right now, because no one has an idea how quick anyone is. I can confirm that it's the first ever wet league race for Maurice Heppel. So he's going to be struggling, I think. And I remember that wet races in IRL of 3 are always very chaotic and difficult for the drivers. But I don't know. What about Adam? Is Adam feeling confident in the rain? I'm not sure.
I mean, he wasn't feeling confident around this track in general, but the wet weather he does enjoy very much. I remember Canada. It was kind of a moist conditions. It was never quite enough for the wet tyres, but it was enough for it to be more slippery, and that got him his second best finish to date. So Adam, he likes the wet. I think he takes a lot from his real-life best friend, Kevin Harrison, also a rain master, but Adam, he's not the most consistent man. We'll call it that. But I think if he can keep it on track, he should be okay. If he can clear the cars around him, then he'll be alright, but I feel like some other people may be a little bit more strong in the wet conditions, so, I mean, it really kind of depends on some of the setup and the way you drive in the wet. Into conditions, we had this yesterday. I struggled a lot. I did not do well. I mean, I got blown up on the first lap, but we won't mention that. Other than that, I was still doing awfully, so, into conditions, very tricky for me at least, so, what we see now isn't going to be an accurate representation, because that was in the dry, now it's in the wet. Anything can happen.
We'll have to especially take a look at the start. Obviously traction is very tricky on the inters in the wet conditions. It's a full wet race the drivers have said, so strategy is not going to play a big factor, it seems like. But we do know that Callum Anderson has got his first race on wheel, and now it's in the rain as well, so that won't help. And he's starting last. He wanted to do a last to first challenge, now it's probably a last to finish challenge. And
as soon as you finish.
I mean, I'd be happy if I'd finish on my first ever league race on wheel in the wet as well. I'd be very happy with that. I mean, he already has proven why he's won the championship. He was so consistent and so quick. But yeah, he doesn't have anything to lose right now, really. So we'll have to wait for the lights to come on. I would like to ask you if you could take a look at the back of the grid, as always. And then we're waiting on the lights to come on for this race in Brazil. Yes, the lights are coming on now. It's up to 4 and 5 red lights for the last race of the IRL F3 Season 7, and it's lights out and away we go. It looks like it's a really good start from Adam Corrigan in P2, but it looks like Paul Farthing has just edged away that little bit. Tim Bruce tries to go down the inside. No, sorry, that's Ross Denholm. Oh, there's a massive collision in the back. We've got Adam Corrigan in the lead, and then there's contact between Billy Mossam and also that is Tim Bruce. He keeps the car straight. Maurice has had a great start, moves up into P5. No, that Paul Farthing is still in the lead, it looks like. I'm not quite sure what happened there. For me, he was half spun round, but we've got still quite a lot of things going on in the background. Many drivers are going off the track, and then we've got Ross Denholm trying to get past Maurice, and he slams into the wall.
That's a huge crash. What's that, 4 or 5 cars?
And we've got a safety car, and that had to be
one. Oh my,
one.
that was huge. Callum Anderson's intense. Ivan King's apparently a lap down. That entire start of a race is absolutely insane, but that crash was huge. We've lost, who's that? Enzo Detoit, Riley Manning, Ross Denham, and Maurice Herpel. 4 cars, and that was a massive collision. I didn't see quite what happened, but Adam Corrigan's already dropped down into 5th. I'm not sure what happened to him. There's so much going on. So Brazil already not disappointing us, treated us to a safety car on the first lap, so there's going to be a lot more carnage to come.
I am very disappointed already. I mean, Maurice has had a solid start. He's kept it clean so far. Was a P7, and then Paul Farthing is diving into the pits.
Damage? Same with Adam Corrigan.
He might have got damage, so Tim is taking the lead right now, but I did see what happened, Jack. So basically, Ross Denholm has had a better run than Maurice. Decided to go side by side, clipped his left rear tyre, and sent both spinning into the wall. And I'm afraid Ross has to take every bit of blame for that one, if I saw it correctly. I'm not 100% sure, but it looked like on first sight that it was Ross Denholm's fault in that situation. And he caused the carnage in the end that was going on, and forced 4 people to retire on not even after the second sector, was inside the second sector, so very disappointing end for those 4 guys.
Yeah, I'd be absolutely furious. I can't comment, I don't know what happened, but all I saw was car, sky, death and voice cracks. So yeah, I don't have an opinion on it. All I saw was carbon fibre confetti and just car stricken across the track. It looked brutal. So disappointing for those four, but what can the rest of them do now? I mean, we've had quite, how many is that? 1, 2, about 6 or 7 pit stops already on the first lap, which is going to put them in a weaker position, as of course strategies are going to make a difference. So they're going to need probably another safety car or something to bring them back through. They're still going to need to make another pit stop. It's a 1-stop race normally for the Inters, but for them it will turn into a 2-stop race now after pitting on the safety car for wing damage or whatever. Now they have to go on to another fresh set of Inters later on in the race, but I mean, Callum Anderson's last first challenge is going well.
I can confirm I looked at the incident a few more times, and it seems like my first intention of that, my first reaction to that crash was indeed correct. What caused it in the end was Maurice went off the track, stayed completely towards the right, out of turn 5, the little kink towards the left, and then Ross Stenholm just clipped the left rear tyre of Maurice while he was completely on the right hand side of the track, and in the end sent both of them round spinning into the wall. So I'm afraid that is completely Ross Stenholm's fault. He won't be happy with that either. Maurice won't be happy with that, and neither will Ronnie Manning, who's been completely innocent in that situation, but still he is out of this race. So very, very disappointing for many drivers right at the start of this one.
I mean, within a sector, I mean, this has definitely benefited some drivers. Within a sector, Callum Anderson's in P4. I mean, he started 20th. He's in P4. That's 16 positions, Felix. 16. What can he do now? I mean, that crash has really benefited some people, as we could see. So, I only expect more carnage and destruction and stuff for the rest of this race. The safety car is in this lap block.
Yes, and I remember Tim spinning round in Britain, but that was a good sign because he won the race in the end. But hopefully this time he will manage to not spin round. And I'm not sure what Billy Mossam does, but he left a huge gap to Tim, and Tim has pulled away, and already he's got a 1.3 second gap. That's way too big. That was not a good restart from Billy Mossam, but let's see. Callum Anderson was thinking about a move on Shane Calais, but he's stuck behind Ivan King. Meanwhile, oh, that's a 3-wide situation right there, and he gets clipped by the Mercedes. They both spin round. Matt Romano, has he kept it out of the wall though?
No.
I'm not sure.
He's completing the wall. We had Adam Corrigan, he went into him. He just kind of turned into him, really, Adam Corrigan. That's his own fault. He should have pulled to the right, but sadly, that didn't come off for him. So already we've got some crashes on this first lap.
Yeah, and then up front we've got Jessica Harrison trying to defend from Ivan King, who's just moved himself up into P9, and another huge crash. Luckily, he doesn't come back into the onto the track. He manages to stay off there, but I think just squeezed Tom Spicer on the outside a bit too much, then realised he was there, tried to leave him a bit more room, and then clipped the McLaren as Adam Spicer tries to go round the outside of Scott McKenna. Scott McKenna defends the position very well though and keeps his spot for now, as we've got 17 views, which is actually quite good for IRL F3, to be honest.
I mean, not bad, at least hopefully we're beating F2, but there's carnage at the back again. Jess Harrison has moved down to P14, not good for him.
Adam's got front wing damage. Yeah,
I was about to point that out. He's got M plate damage, I think. So that's disappointing for him, as he just kind of went into Matt Romano as he crashed. But currently Billy Mossam set fastest lap and into the pits. Adam
and here goes Callum Anderson around the outside into turn 1 on Shane Calais, and what a move from the world champion this season. He defends the inside line for the next corner. That is the famous straight where both Ferrari crashed out. In real life, they're going side by side into turn 4 then, as Callum Anderson leaves enough space. Had a beautiful camera angle on the rear wing of Callum Anderson, and he gets the move done. Great positioning of his car in that fight, and he is up into P3. And Billy Mossam in the meantime has caught up a massive gap that he created because of his poor restart. So Tim Mustainens is under pressure. Could we see Billy Mossam winning his first race of the season?
Possibly, as long as Billy keeps it out of the wall. He looks like he's got good pace, currently has the fastest lap, so as long as he keeps it out of the wall, he should be okay. But currently there's a big gap between them and Callum Anderson behind, so hopefully they shouldn't really be affected by the people behind too much. They just need to try and keep consistency at the front, keep those times going up, and you know, just stay at the front.
And Billy is really,
Oh,
really
there's a
close
crash in the
to...
back. Sorry, that's Adam Spicer going around. Tyler Thomas, there's a big crash. It's one of the Hasses. Thomas Spicer hitting them. Adam Spicer around as well. I'm not sure who or what happened, but I think Tyler Thomas just spun round and had, I think, 4-ish cars just kind of collect him. Sorry to cut you off there, but a little bit more drama and already gaps. Quite big gaps starting to form due to incidents.
Oh, poor Farthing has to pit as Adam Spicer hits his brother going into the pit lane and hits his front wing off completely. Don't know how broken it was before, but now it certainly is even more. And the gaps up front are getting close. Oh, and that's a very white line from Shane Calais. That wasn't really quick for him. And poor Farthing hasn't had the best start to a race, if you can say so. I mean, he's down to P12 with already 2 pit stops made. And but he's still in front of Adam Corrigan, though.
I mean, that's something, I guess, but our only fight right now is the fight for the race lead. So Billy Mossam, I think he might send it into the first corner if he can get close enough. The wet weather kind of causing less fights really in general, which is kind of disappointing, but well, still fun.
As we're up to 18 viewers, those 18 people are watching this fight for the win right now, but we're only on lap 6, so they might play the long game here. Just, you know, patiently waiting. Overtaking is, like we mentioned multiple times this season, not that rewarding on this game. As Callum Anderson sets the fastest lap of the race, Billy Mossam completely cuts turn 2. Picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that will help him in this fight for P1.
He seems like he's kind of saving ERS right now, so I think he is playing the long game, like you said. He's still got 30 laps to go in this race, so I think he's going to be waiting out. He's already got a penalty, so he probably needs him to make a mistake, or he needs to get past him and create that gap. Currently staying around medium ERS for most corners, so I think he's just trying to save. ERS management is normally quite a thing on this track, I find, for myself, but in the wet, it's really not. You can kind of just do what you like with the ERS, put it in none for a couple of corners, and you should be completely okay. Just had the yellow flag in sector 3, no idea what's that for, but through this sector, Spicer. Billy is so much quicker. Look how much closer he is. He's just pushing Tim round. Billy is so much quicker through sector 2, it's quite scary, really.
Tim might have a dry setup, though, because he is definitely pulling away from Billy on the long straight, which basically makes overtaking for Billy impossible. But right now, he is really close, and he has got the DRS. He's activated overtake ERS mode. He's probably in rich mix as well. It's pretty close. Could he send it down the inside on lap 8 of this race? He goes to the inside, doesn't really go for a move. That's a half-hearted one. It's not really committed. But that compromised Tim's line. Ooh. And that might have been a beautiful switchback from Billy Mossam. He's got the outside line now. Coming down into turn 4 now. I haven't got the best camera angle, but they're going side by side for the race win right now. As Jessica Harrison has crashed out, but still, they're fighting it away. And can Billy maybe set up a move into turn 7 here, which would be really, really tricky, but no, we've got a VSC.
Oh, I think Jess Harrison lost it where Max did, and a couple of other drivers before, but
yeah.
I think she lost it in the final kind of turn coming onto the main straight. I'm not sure how she did that, maybe hit a puddle or something on the inside.
The puddle,
yeah,
as if that exists on the F1 games.
You never know, you need a reason for everything, Felix. Don't ruin this as facts.
Well, it could be. She probably just hit the curb though, because the curbs can be pretty slippery in the wet. But right now, I gotta say, Callum Anderson does a really, really good job. He's even catching up to those two in front.
Oh yeah. I've already seen that, 1.6 seconds.
VSC might be ending in a bit. Yes, it is ending now. It's not been the best restart from... Oh, did I just see front wing parts flying from Tom Spicer once again?
Yeah, I think so. I saw the front wing on the ground. I assumed it was from Jess Harrison, but here
there goes Billy Mossam down the inside into turn 1 for the race lead, and he takes the race lead. Can Tim go for the switchback? Through turn 2 they go. Tim backs out for the moment, but he has got the straight line speed to maybe fight back. Coming down into turn 4 now. He's in the slipstream, but I think he's just that tiny bit too far away, so he has to stay behind. And what a great move from Billy Mossam, who puts himself into the lead of this race.
Absolutely fantastic move as well. I agree with you. Here comes Scott Manning though. He's going to go around the outside on Reese March. I'm sorry, was just didn't happen for me there. No move was made. I'm King behind him, also just going to sitting. Except Reese March, he's got a little bit wide. Here comes Scott. Can he do anything about it? Reese March, he's not having good lines. Here comes Scott. He's going to go down the inside, up the hill. No, he's not. He's just going to sit back and wait for now. So yeah, fantastic move from Billy Mossam to get that race lead. I mean, that was quite a launch from quite far back. He needed to be committed. He was committed, and he got that move done.
It is Scott McKenna though. It's not Scott Manning actually.
Sorry.
No problem. But Callum Anderson has caught up massively as well. He's nearly within that 1 second window. There is no DRS obviously because it's raining, but still, he shows that he has got the pace right now to catch up to those two guys and maybe even win in his first ever league race on wheel, in his first ever league race on wheel in the wet, and starting from P20.
Yeah, first of many. I mean, he's certainly got the pace. He's still going quickly. But here comes Luke Baker behind Other King. No move being made. He just wasn't quite close enough. Now that VSC has at least brought some drivers closer together. And I'm noticing a lot of drivers struggling with their lines. As we've got yellow flag sector 1, no idea who that's for. But coming down the second straight, Ivan King's really close to Scott. Can he do anything about it? No, he can't. He's just sitting back behind. This is the problem with the wet. The no DRS does affect the overtaking. I see less people making bigger lunges because they're kind of afraid of losing the car. But Ivan King, he's got such a good run on Scott, but he's just not going for any moves. He seems to be getting really close, but they're never really just sending it and trying to get that P6.
I think it's very, very fun, and if you've got really good control of the brakes, it can be very fun just in a Daniel Ricciardo like dive bomb into a certain corner, because when you are able to there's been contact between Ivan King and Scott McKenna. Ivan should probably let Scott McKenna go here in order to not get a penalty, but he doesn't. They're going side by side. He gets pushed off, and that is not too clean what both of them are doing right here. Billy Mossam starts to pull away from P2, and that wasn't the cleanest fight between Ivan King and Scott McKenna. But yeah, what I wanted to say is, I think when you've got good control of your brakes, then in the wet, you're really set for some good dive bomb moves. As we may see now. No, we don't. Ooh. Oh, but Scott McKenna goes wide. A corner cut from Ivan King. He's trying to do the switch back. Oh, and Luke is just sitting behind and waiting for those guys to do a mistake. But they don't, it seems like. But maybe now Luke has a chance on Ivan. No, he stays behind and lets both of them go in front. Probably a smart decision from him to not get involved in any carnage in front up there.
Yeah, this is really holding them up though, I think. They're losing a bit of time to Reese March ahead of them now. But yeah, Luke Baker just sitting back and waiting. That's probably the right call. Except Billy Mossam, he's certainly flying 2.1 seconds already in front of Tim Brusalians. But Callum Anderson, his gap's kind of staying around the 1 second mark. But this fight in the mid-pack, Luke Baker, I think is the right thing to sit behind. But Ivan King and Scott, they're having an interesting fight. I mean, probably not the cleanest, as we've just lost Tom Spicer, who was at the back. So will that be a VSC or a safety car? That looks like it's on the straight though.
Yeah,
just hit a curb and kind of
yeah,
spun.
we've got a safety car.
Oh, okay. I said the drivers pit now. Anyone who hasn't pit now. So you have the fresh tyres. I think they can make it to the end. Ooh, Luke Baker almost.
Yes, we've got Reese March. What is Scott McKenna doing? He's also pitting. So is Ivan King. So is Luke Baker. So is Tyler Thomas. Matt Romano will probably dive into the pit lane as well. And that means Paul Farthing will have to double stack behind his teammate. No, it doesn't. Matt Romano stays out. Paul Farthing pits though. What will Adam Corrigan do? He stays out. Adam Spicer, he will stay out as well. Interesting. And Tom Jewell currently last. I think it would be the best decision to pit right now. Otherwise,
yeah, and try and bring the tyres to the end.
Yeah, otherwise you would have to make a whole another pit stop, and that will lose you around 20 seconds. So you basically gain 20 seconds.
Adam's just let about 3 cars through. And now he's just rammed Ivan King off the road. Oh my god. Adam, what are you doing? Adam, what have you done?
Oh,
that was really stupid. I mean,
Got
Now
McKenna
he has
starting
to
people
pit.
through.
I can't even
Adam.
describe what I just saw. He
I
just
just,
completely yeeted Ivan off the track.
yeah,
He now has to
I
pit again.
just saw it. I just switched onto the onboard, and then I just saw that. I mean, Adam, come on. Ah,
He was letting cars through. I was like, why? Why? You could just overtake them because of the pit lane and everything, you know, white lines, whatever. But Adam, he just let all those cars through and then he started accelerating again. Ivy King was going slowly, I assume for Delta or something, and then... I mean, Adam just shafted him. Is the only way I can describe it. So, yeah. That is not good from Adam. He's going to have to pit now with wing damage. Same with Ivan King. So that's disappointing of him, but now he's going to have to try and stretch those tyres to the end. It looked like it was going to be a promising race for Adam, but I think it's left like now without another safety car in this race.
that was a rookie mistake, I'll have to say, to be honest. It looked like a rookie mistake. I mean,
Yeah.
you should not plow into into the back of another driver. Under the safety car especially. I mean, that reminds me of Sebastian Vettel actually. In 2008,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it was, when
Mark Webber.
when he crashed into Mark Webber under the safety car.
Yeah. You said wet conditions also. I mean, I think it was a little bit more heavy for Vettel when he basically couldn't see a thing behind Mark's spray, but yeah, I think there's a chance of another safety car in this race, but it's not even halfway through yet, so I already had 2 safety cars. I think the maximum I've ever seen is 4, so maybe we'll see that. A lot of drivers being out of this race already, but yeah, Adam Corrigan, rookie mistake, that's what I think holds him back. He makes those mistakes a little bit too often. He's got the pace, he's finally shown us that. He's up there sometimes, but then he would be up there all the time, I think, if he didn't crash into people and spin. So, yeah, I think Adam Corrigan is his own worst enemy, as we have Billy Mossam who pits. Hadn't he already pit? Why is he pit?
He might have gotten from wing damage, but I'm not sure.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he's just got his wing changed.
So he kind of made a rookie mistake as well, it seems like. He was leading this race.
How did he do that?
I'm not sure. He might have run into the safety car.
Okay. Now, if you run into a safety car, that's
I'm not sure. That was just like what I could imagine what happened, but obviously I'm not sure. But if that is actually the case, then oh lord. But he had a really good shot at winning this race. And now he's down into P10.
I think it's between Tim and Callum now. I don't think Shane quite had the pace, so Tim and Callum. Callum's in P2 from the back of the grid. Oh, how has this happened?
And he looked like he was quicker than Tim as well in the previous stint. So we might see Callum winning this race from last on the grid on wheel.
And in the wet. F3 doesn't disappoint. Oh, and there goes Billy. He seems to lag out quite a lot. I say lag out with a bit of quotation marks. I mean, that's quite convenient. Safety car in this lap. So, what's going to happen on this restart?
Hopefully this will be quite a lot cleaner than before. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Callum Anderson will not lose as much time as Billy Mossam did when he had second place on the restart.
Yeah, for sure. Keep
and
it close.
Here he goes. Callum, that was not the worst restart he had. That was quite decent. Looks like Jean Calais has had a solid restart as well. Paul Farthing, he's not allowed to overtake to the start-finish line, and that's why you had to let him back through. Adam also overtook Ivan King in front of the safety car, in front of the start-finish line. I think Paul Farthing has gone past Adam Spicer now. Betty Mossam's AI is dropping back. That's yeah, that should be quite obvious, but I think Adam might face another penalty for overtaking before the start-finish straight.
Oh yeah, actually, I'm not sure if they're side by side before the start-finish straight, but yeah, Adam he he had definitely much more straight line speed than Ivan King, but we'll have to see it in the show's report afterwards. But the front run is, I think most people are just kind of keeping it quite level right now, quite level-headed, keeping it calm. Probably the best thing right now for safety car restarts. You don't want to get any damage now in case there isn't another safety car. So I think most people are going to try and keep it clean. I just saw Paul Farthing get very close to Tyler Thomas, so I think my words might come straight back at me, and people are going to change that. So fingers crossed someone doesn't blow up his Tyler Thomas just hits off the
makes a
brakeboard.
huge mistake, and basically hands P6 to Paul Farthing on a plate, more or less.
He won't be complaining. I have no idea how he did that though. He just kind of swung to the side and hit off the brake-board. Went wide and Paul Farthing said, "Thank you very much, I'll have that." Adam Spice, now it's his turn to try and get past Tyler Thomas if he can. But yeah, so far the rain has made an interesting race, and not interesting in terms of overtakes, but interesting in terms of crashes and carnage.
I mean, I would actually prefer a dry race with a bit better racing. I don't know what's going on with Tyler Thomas. He just slowed down, it looked like.
Yeah, just let Adam Spicer through, so
I just wanted to shout, it looks like Tyler has got a problem, but that's not the case on the F1 games, which is a shame in my opinion. But
I wish.
Still, yeah, I wish so as well. I think that would be quite cool. I mean, you can get a DRS failure, so there could be an option to enable or disable that thing, but I would like to see random failures. Just add
mechanical failures.
Yeah, just
that's what I want. Except I feel like people get really annoyed with it, so I think there has to be an option. Yeah, I can't turn it on and off. But I would definitely have it on if I was running a league. I'd love that. It makes things so much more interesting. Maybe
and Paul Farthing hits Scott McKenna. He stays on track right now. But it looks like Paul Farthing. No, it looks like it was just enough not to get wing damage. But Paul Farthing hit the Haas. Oh, that's close. Let's keep it clean, please. And Paul Farthing, it looks like he moves himself up into P5, but no, Scott McKenna fights. He tries to get a good exit out of turn 2 now, maybe. But it looks like Paul Farthing has got the pace advantage at the moment. And is past the Haas driver, Adam Corrigan. Currently up into P10 as Reece March drops not 1 but 2 positions. Maybe can fight back now though against Ivan King. Down the inside he goes into turn 4. Side by side, and he gets the move done. Goes slightly off the track. Will that have compromised his exit? Seems like it's fine. Yes, it is fine. Oh! Tom Jewell tries to go around the outside of Ivan King. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. Has to let his teammate pass now as well, I think. Yeah, Benny Mossum is now passed as well. So that could have been an amazing move, but it's ended in actually losing a position instead of gaining one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for points, so hopefully they shouldn't go out too hard. But yeah, maybe it's just for a bit of fun, you know, last race this season. I know me and Sandro did that yesterday. We just kind of had a banter trying going, had a bit of fun. But I'm trying to keep an eye on this, like, this lead fight. Callum Anderson and Tim Brusalians. Callum Anderson is quicker on the straights by quite a margin, I think. He just needs to get that good exit after some of these corners onto the straight so he can make that move. He's staying around 4 or 5 tenths away from Tim, but Tim just has his better exits, better sector too, so Callum Anderson can't quite get close enough, so yeah, it's interesting.
Very much indeed, and I think we've got a very good fight for this lead right here as Reece March has lost multiple positions, is now trying to gain one back on Ivan King. Side by side into turn 4, he goes off the track, and Benny Mossum in the meantime has moved himself up, and Paul Farthing has just gone past Luke Baker.
So we got Tom Jewell almost going round. He just lost the rear end of his car, almost losing it. Hang on, Ivan King's just gone slowly. Reece March is going to go around the outside. I have no idea why he went slowly there. Maybe he felt bad for almost spinning whoever spun. I can't even remember anymore, but I think it was Tom Jewell. So that's interesting. I mean, Luke Baker also gets past, as you mentioned. So some interesting fights going on down for the menial positions, the ones that don't really mean too much, but at least people are fighting.
Definitely indeed, and let's see if Callum Anderson might go for a move. He's actually lagging on my screen massively, so that's not really helping to see what is actually going on. But he is really close, coming down on into turn 4 right now. Can he go for a move round the outside maybe? He has a little look, but he
Oh.
backs out. But is it that laggy for you as well?
Yeah, that's lag. Oh, hang on, they're going to go side by side. They're going off for camera angle, except Tim Brazilian stays in front. Callum, I think, made a mistake with there, trying to make a move. So that's disappointing. Now, second down, so he's got all that work to do again. And there goes Adam Spicer and Scott McKenna going side by side, coming up the hill. It's going to be this racing point on the inside. He's going to have the move done for now, except here comes Scott. He's going to go with the inside, maybe. He's going to try and go for it. Late breaking maneuver, no, it doesn't happen. Adam Spicer moving himself up to P6. Scott has to stay behind in P7, but here comes Tyler Thomas. He's getting quite close to that fight. I thought that was going to be something more than it was, but Callum Anderson made a little bit of a mistake, except him. He's just made a mistake too, so Callum Anderson shaking all over the place. He's, I mean, it's like a monkey with ADHD. He's all over the place. But yeah, he's all over the back of him now. Slipstream. Best straight line speed, can he do it? The lag's not going to help, but I think he's going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1. He's going to go for it, coming into turn 1. I have no idea which way he's going. It looks like he's trying to go around the other side, except he didn't go for the move. So now I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, it's not really that free of lag right now, which doesn't make it easy for drivers to overtake, I think. I would like to think it's only for us, but I think it's for them as well, sadly. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Callum is still able to somehow get past the Renault driver.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully he'll find a way. He almost had it just a lap before, except he made a mistake. Except he's caught quite a lot, so I think Tim made a mistake. Except Shane Calais, he's closing up to his fight. And Adam has just overtaken Matt Romano. That was not a fight, it was just kind of an overtake, I guess. So that's not interesting. But Shane Calais, he's catching up to his fight now. So maybe these two are going to fight for the win. Paul Farthing behind them, though, also maybe joining in on this fight for the lead, so it could be interesting these like last 16-15 laps.
Yeah, we've got when we cross the line, we've got 16 laps remaining in this wet race. Like you said, we don't have the best amount of actual fights on track. We've got quite a good amount of crashes and general excitement, but like I said, I do prefer the sunny races which have more actual overtaking and fighting on track. I think we would have been treated better with a dry race, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Brazil in the dry is absolutely fantastic. Except Billy wants to be coming into the first corner. Looks like he's trying to make a move around the outside on Matt Romano. I think he's going to be able to do it, actually. On the inside for the second corner, Matt Romano doesn't really put up too much of a fight, just kind of lets him through. That was a really good move. I don't think Matt Romano bothered to put up a fight. He was like, okay, fair enough.
Oh, there goes Tyler Thomas down the inside on Scott McKenna down into turn 4. Oh! And he clips the rear tyre of Scott. He keeps the car on track. Adam says thank you very much. But yeah, I think Tyler just braked a bit too late. Then slightly clipped the rear tyre. That just immediately sends you round on this game.
Yeah, I think so. It's more of a racing incident, I say. Maybe more Tyler Thomas's fault from the little bit I caught, but now the fight at the front is all become full way up at the top, so I'm excited for that fight towards the end, because Callum Anderson looks like he's quicker than Tim. He just can't quite make the move at some points, just hasn't quite got the exit as he
it does look like Callum Anderson is lagging, I can tell you that.
It's awful.
It is. I don't know if that has to do with his internet or with the lobby itself, but
I'm not sure.
It's not really that great to watch lagging cars racing each other.
No, it's not. It also messes with my eyes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think he's just going to turn off the track and I'm going to scream. Adam Corrigan just got really close to Scott McKenna, though. I mean, it looks like he was almost side by side with them coming through the first couple of corners, but I'm not sure what happened there. Tyler Thomas, he's caught up a little bit after his mistake, and we've lost Billy again. Oh, he's crashed, actually! Callum Anderson was off in the grass. I think Billy Musson might have just rage quit there. It was just off in the grass. I have no idea why or how, but it was off in the grass. He just left the session. So I think we might have just seen a rage quit from Billy Musson. That's really disappointing to see. It showed so much promise in this race. It just didn't quite come off for him. Got unlucky. Got that wing damage. We're not sure how, but it's a big disappointment for Billy. He's always good. He's always at the top, but then something goes wrong for him every time. I'm not sure if it's just pure coincidence, bad luck, but it just seems to go wrong for him all the time.
I just wanted to mention that incident we saw earlier with Tyler and Scott McKenna. I'm very disappointed by the game's engine because in real life, when you touch the car in front with your front tire, you touch their rear tire. In real life, the driver in front would actually just get spun round and not you.
Oh, and here comes Adam Corrigan, and Scott McKenna goes side by side coming into first corner. Scott's going to be on the inside. Can he make a move? He looks like it. He lost a little bit under the braking. 7 Adam Corrigan. He's probably going to keep that P7 for now, except he's got an absolutely awful exit. So Scott McKenna, if he could do something onto his second straight, maybe he could take that P7 back. Except it doesn't look like it's happening. And we've just lost Ivan King. I've no idea how he's crashed, but he's crashed all the same. Tyler Thomas is behind Scott McKenna, except nothing's going to happen. So that's the end of that fight. But I agree with you on those game mechanics. I'd rather see it more realistic, and Benny's back. So
There's... On my screen it said something happened between Tim and Callum.
I've just seen that, yeah. I'm not sure what happened, but
it might be
it
lag.
happened. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very disappointing. I would rather see something more realistic because it just isn't the case. Maybe both drivers would spin round, but not only the driver behind, the driver in front would definitely spin round in real life. That is almost... Yeah, that is pretty guaranteed in, I'd say, 90% of the situations that are like that. The driver in
and
front
here comes
spins
Paul
round.
Farthing behind Shane Collier, coming up the inside, coming into first corner. He's going to go for it. I've got an awful camera angle. I can't see anything except Paul Farthing. He's gone up the inside. He's got really wide though. Can Shane do anything to come back at that? He's got a better exit. Except Paul Farthing kind of just impeding his way. Look at him. He's just pushing him, touching him, rubbing him. That got a little bit more sexual than I would have liked. But Shane Collier, can he do anything against Paul Farthing? No, I can't do anything. Sits behind him. Paul kind of just impeded his run onto that second straight, but it's all fair. Shane can do anything. He just sat
on the racing line and just thought, "No, you're not getting past me here, mate." And blocked him off
not
quite
wanting
well.
to do his homework. That's how I'd compare it to. He said, "No, no."
When Scott McKenna and Tyler Thomas are going side by side for the moment, and Scott McKenna took the position back from Tyler as he went off the track, coming through turn 4, and he's lost the position once again.
Yeah, I missed that. It's a good fight though, kind of these lower end of the points, but Adam Corrigan, he's gained 1.6 seconds because of their fighting, so he's not complaining. So lucky him, but oh, we just lost Benny Marston for real this time. Yeah, he's retired out in the pits. He's had enough.
I can understand that though.
Yeah, I can understand it. He just the AI pit for him as well, so that's the end of that. About 10-11 laps to go, depending on how you want to put it.
And I just don't know 11. Why Callum is not able to pass Tim. Can't really go on board with him because it looks awful how he lags from left to right. And Adam Spicer's just pitted, and Callum has lagged out.
Oh, okay.
That's his
that's
last
not a surprise after
challenge
seeing the lag.
Done, because he's not allowed to rejoin.
Oh no, he's not, is he?
Sadly, the glitch is still active. So Tim has just created himself a comfortable gap to P2 with that. He's got around a 2-second gap, and when he crosses the line, 11 laps to go for his second race win in IRL end of the season.
Yeah, that's really just played into Tim. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, this is his race to lose. That's really played into his favour. Really lucky for him in a way, but Callum Hansen just wasn't able to get past him anyway, so yeah, it's really interesting. Callum Hansen unfortunately doesn't get to finish his championship world title winning season. He doesn't get to finish it off on that big high that he may have been hoping for. It all comes to an end in lag and sad. Oh dear.
Very
really
sad, but I can tell you that Tim has only got 1 warning so far. Paul Farthing has got 2 warnings, actually 3, but one of them is obviously for contact then. And Shane has already got a penalty and 2 warnings. So it looks like it's going to be a fight between Paul Farthing and Tim Bousdanens for the race victory. On penalties, Tim could get it if Paul Farthing just track extends 1 more time.
Yeah, I don't think Adam Corrigan can do anything on penalties. He's 10 seconds back, so Yeah, I think the rest of this race could be decided on penalties, but I've just noticed Paul Farthing is caught about 8 tenths on this last lap. Callum Anson's joined, except he's going to have to retire, otherwise he'll be disqualified. But Paul Farthing, he's caught almost his second on this lap. He's gone very, very quickly. Maybe he's going to be able to take this race win off Tim. Tim just doesn't seem to have the pace right now. He's been caught, but as we noticed before with Callum just wasn't able to make it past him. So 10 laps remaining. Paul sets the fastest lap of the race. What's going to happen in these last 10 laps? Only time will tell. Can Paul win? Can Tim win? Maybe even Shane.
I slightly feel offended. Because in the chat, Kieran Jackman has said he enjoys watching every week. Yet, can we get the 10p internet upgraded off the streamer? Quality should be better.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but this is the highest quality PlayStation has got available. It's 720p and 60 FPS. And I can confirm it looks like that as well on YouTube on stream. So I can't afford to get an Elgato, so you'll have to deal with this. But I think 720p and 60 FPS should be all right.
Oh yeah, normally that works quite nicely for me. It seems quite nice. I don't have a problem with it. But never mind. Tyler Thomas, he was just side by side with Scott McKenna. I'm not sure why he backed out with that, but they were having a little fight. But yeah, stream quality is alright. It'll do. Well, maybe it's just on his end. It's not looking as good because that happens sometimes.
But here comes Paul Farthing.
Offended.
Down into turn one. Tim has to defend the inside line.
Ooh.
Will he do that? Oh, that's a late defending move. But Paul wasn't really committed to it. But let's see, maybe Paul gets a better exit now out of turns 2 and 3. He gets a solid exit, but I think the straight is not long enough to make a move here yet. He gets close, but not close enough, so he'll has to back out for now and has to wait for at least one more lap.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, it looked like he maybe could have tried to make that lunge, but Tim moved over quite late, so it was quite hard for him to make that overtake. But Paul, he's going to want to do it at some point soon. He has got the pace, so if he can get that move done, then I think he'll be able to pull away. But just the sheer amount of people who have retired out of this race. Look at that, we've only got 11 drivers remaining, so we've lost 8 drivers, I think. Or 9, I have no idea. Oh, we just lost one of the Ferraris, and that's Adam Corrigan off in the grass, off in Narnia. So that's going to be his P5 done. That's why I talk about his spinning and everything. And he's got a 10-second time penalty. Oh god.
Good game, good game.
Thanks, game. That's what I talk about a lot with Adam. He just crashes. He's also lost an end plate. He has such good pace, he has so much promise, but he just crashes all the time.
Speaking of such good pace, here comes Paul Farthing once again.
Oh, yeah.
But he is just not close enough, but I would actually say he's close enough. I'd dive in there. But it might be just my aggression while I'm overtaking. But most of the time it is working, and if the driver's in front is fair, it doesn't just completely turn in on you, then it's actually working. If
yeah,
both parts are actually racing properly, then you can overtake like that, especially if you're really good at controlling your brakes in terms of ABS and brake pressure. So he could send it, but he knows he's got a bit left in this race when he crosses the line, 7 laps to be exact, and I think he's just playing it a bit safe at the moment.
Yeah, I think Paul, he doesn't want to risk losing this race win. Maybe he'll wait until the last couple of laps. All or nothing, go for an almighty send, but it really does depend on this exit. Right here, that final corner, if he gets a good exit, I think he could make the move. But Tim, that's where he gains. He just gains all that extra bit of time to stop people from making the overtake in that corner. But then Paul Farthing, he has that better straight line speed. Here he comes. He's got to make the move now. Pulls up to the outside. Oh, contact! That scared me. He's still going to go around the outside though. Coming into the first corner. Tim's on the inside. They're still going side by side into the second corner. Oh, he's lost the rear as well. Paul cuts the corner, gets out in front. Okay. I said I had to climax Caden. I didn't want it to end like that.
That was a bit hard from Tim, I gotta say.
Yeah. He lost the rear as well though, so...
Yeah, he lost the rear, slightly pushed him off, but before he didn't leave much space on the outside, did he?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting turn of events. Oh, Tim's gone really slowly through there, but Paul's all over the back of him. Is he going to send it up the inside? Looks like... Oh, God, no!
Oh!
Oh! He almost spun Tim. They're getting so close. Tim's gone really slowly. Paul's just all over the back of him. He's trying to make a move everywhere. This is going to turn into a clown fight.
Paul is getting a bit impatient now. Tim wants to keep that race win. Paul wants to get that race win. And that's how it looks like then. And that doesn't look that nice. Paul wants his 4th win of the season.
I mean, it's just kind of a bit of a ding-dong, I'd call it.
Yeah, but here comes Paul once again on the outside. Maybe for another round now. Tim has to just give ways. Maybe now. No, he dives back down the inside. That looked like a fair move, to be honest. Paul is defending aggressively as well. That's pretty hard fighting here. Not the cleanest of fights we've had this season, but now Paul with the straight line speed. Oh, tries to get past him, squeezes him. Only just manages to stay in front. Oh, and Paul. Oh no,
Oh,
he spins into the wall.
He's off. He's out. Virtual safety car, Paul farthing. Oh no. I can't even describe what I was seeing. It looked like he tried to go for a late move. He tried to lunge it right at the end there. I mean, that fight was kind of ridiculous start to finish for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're a bit too aggressive, considering that's for the race win. I think that was a bit too much, if I'm honest.
Luke Baker promoted into P3 with that. He's on the podium at the moment.
He is. That's just disappointing. I mean, the fight he got, I think, was too aggressive. They just went at it too hard.
Yeah, I think none of those drivers wanted to yield in that situation, and that's what caused it in the end.
Yeah.
Very aggressive from both sides. Tim didn't leave much space. Paul attacked pretty aggressively as well. And then that's basically the result of it. Lucky for Tim not to be out of this race as well. It seems like he's gonna come home to win his 2nd race this season. Then Snooks has joined for whatever reason, but that is not a problem.
Shane's still very close to Tim though.
Yeah,
this
he's
means
got
Adam
a penalty
Corrigan does
though.
get points. We've had half the grid wiped out. Oh God, Scott McKenna almost hit the wall there. He just lost the rear coming onto the main straight, but Tyler Thomas following behind him. That looks like our closest battle right now, other than Adam Spicer behind Tom Jewell. So the mid pack, which is mid points now, having some pretty interesting fights. Scott McKenna is having awful traction. Here comes Tyler Thomas. Nice lag. Very cool. So here comes Tyler Thomas. He's going to go around the outside. Coming into turn 4. What can he do? Scott McKenna is going to be on the inside. Beautiful helicopter shot. The Red Bull going to go around the outside. Coming into turn 4. The Haas on the inside. It's still a little bit of wheel bang. No, the Red Bull goes wide. The Haas, he stays in front. Actually, no, it's not stays in front. Makes the move. Actually, no. He does stay in front. Sorry, my words are mixed up. Not having a good time with me today. So Tyler Thomas has to stay behind. P5. Scott McKenna stays P4. Distraction seems to be a big thing for these drivers now. 20 lap old inters. They're not having a good time. Look at Scott McKenna. He's all over the place. He's got a loose rear end, we'll call it.
And that I would call this a very surprising and unexpected race result if it actually finishes like that. I mean, we've got Tim winning this race, it looks like, in front of Shane Calais. I think he takes his 1st podium of the season. Luke Baker also takes his 1st podium of the season, I think. And who would have thought that before the start of this race?
I mean, I don't know anymore. This is what I don't try and predict F3.
Comes Tom Spicer, maybe round the outside of Tom Jewell. Yes, he goes for a move round the outside into turn 1. They're going side by side. They're going at it. We've got a Racing Point and a McLaren fighting here. We've had a Racing Point taking a Red Bull out in 2018. This time the Racing Point gets past. That sentence was pretty controversial. I must have triggered some Ocon fanboys with that one. And there goes Tom Jewell once again down the inside, but he backs out a little bit. So he thought there was a gap, but then he realised there wasn't really a gap, so he backed out. And what is going on with Scott McKenna right now?
He's having an awful time with his tyres. Someone says though he's got a puncture. He's not having a good time, I'll call it that. He's going really slow. Has he got a puncture? Game, give me a good camera angle. Is that... No, it's not bad enough for a puncture, I don't think, but
Doesn't
his
look
tyres
like a
have gone
puncture.
off so badly.
It looks like, pace-wise, it looks like it's a puncture, but I can't see anything properly broken on his car, to be honest. And Adam has just retired.
Oh, how has he done that?
I have no idea.
That's not good, but here comes Adam Spicer on Scott McKenna.
He pits.
Oh, he
Oh!
crashes in the pits! That's the luckiest reset to track I've ever seen in my life.
The game, I think, reset him into
I
the
think
pit
so,
lane.
because he spun in the pits. That was intense.
That could have been
We
race
got 9
over for him.
drivers. How have we got 9 drivers? I mean, I knew the rain would bring out some carnage, but I didn't expect that level of carnage. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars out of this race. That's just a huge amount. We haven't got any fights on track anymore because, I mean, everyone's gone. They've had an early shower, so I think the racing has kind of been, in a way, nullified by this rain. I think it would have been a much more interesting race if it was dry. I mean, where weather's welcome and it makes stuff interesting, but when you have half the grid wiped out and more, I think that's when it starts to kind of draw the line and it's not as good as it could be.
Yeah, and the smallest gap between drivers is currently between P1 and P2.
Luke Baker's pit.
Oh wait, I think Shane just spotted. Shane just spun round.
Oh, he's got a puncture.
Has Shane got a
Shane's
puncture?
round. Luke's got a puncture. Tyler Thomas, he's going to go into P2.
Shane has got a puncture as well.
Oh
Shane
my.
has had a puncture. Penultimate
The
lap of
tyres
this
have
race.
gone.
It's all coming down. Luke
tyres have
seems
gone.
to have made the right call right now. He pits. Shane
Oh no.
might not even finish this race.
Adam Spicer's in the best position. What's going to happen to Tim? That's what I want to know. What's going to happen to Tim? Because his tyres are just as old, but I was saying about people's tyres going off. I was like, oh, it could be a puncture, maybe.
Yeah,
But
we've
now
got
there are
22.
actually punctures.
Tyler Thomas has got 23 lap tyres, but he
Oh
seemed to
my.
be fine.
Except Adam Spicer's gone a lot quicker than him.
Oh, this is chaotic. This is
Oh my.
Oh, the McLaren nearly makes contact with Shane, and Shane loses his
Oh.
podium. He sees it slipping away from him. Let's see. Tim could actually pit to play it safe.
Oh, I think
He
he
doesn't.
should, because Tyler Thomas is holding up Adam so much.
Adam will probably get a podium. Let's see what happens to Tim. Hopefully he won't get a puncture. That will be a shame now.
Last lap.
And oh no, Shane has just lost his podium. His first of
He
the
has.
season, I think. Let's see
Oh.
if Adam Spicer goes for a move down the inside of Tyler Thomas. I think he will. Down the inside he goes into turn one. Last lap of this race. He's got a lot fresher tyres. I think Tyler Thomas is happy if he doesn't get a puncture anymore. Picks up another 3-second time penalty. That could change the race result. And he gets past. Let's see if something happens to Tim. Shane has to pit, sadly. Tyler Thomas, 24 lap old Inters. Those must be so worn right now.
These drivers are not having a good time at all. They are hurt. They're just crawling around this track. But Tim, he's coming up to the final corner now. It looks like it's going to be his race. Unless his tyre completely blows up, which it doesn't happen on this game. I think this could be Tim to win this race. He gives us a wiggle. He gives us a weave. Final race this season is going to be Tim.
Yeah, Tim wins his second race of this season, and after taking his breakthrough victory in Britain, he takes the final race win of this season here in Brazil. Luke Baker passes Matt Romano for P5.
Ooh.
And it looks like Adam Spicer's got to come home to take P2 and an unlikely podium, and so does Tyler Thomas. Let's see if penalties
Thomas
change
has jumped
anything.
onto
Yes, they do. Oh, and Luke
Oh my.
misses out. Matt
Matt
Romano
Romano's
is on the
got podium.
podium.
Oh, I don't know
Oh
what to
my
say.
goodness.
How has this happened?
I have no idea whatsoever.
That's a huge amount of penalties. He got a comfortable gap as well, did Matt Romano. Oh wow, this race
Oh
is
my
interesting.
lord. Reese March comes home in 7th. He stays there. Only if penalties change something.
Oh no.
No, they don't. And Shane Calais gave us some donuts, which we didn't see. I'm sorry, Shane, but we had to keep an eye on what was going on. And what a podium is that? Tom Joe and Matt Romano finish off the second and third step of the podium. Oh my god, who would have thought that?
That race, sometimes with F3, I just find it hard to commentate on because I don't know what's going on. I cannot describe the things I'm seeing, it's just F3 things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sadly I'd have to say that's the most disappointing race I've commentated on because Brazil always good hope and promise, but the rain, it just kind of calmed the race down in a way. With kind of the fighting and overtakes, but then we've had an almighty amount of retirements which certainly didn't help the racing, so in a way, for me, out of the races I've commentated on, this has been the worst one.
Yeah, in the IRL F3 it definitely has been the worst race I've commentated. Still, a pretty solid one I'd say in terms of excitement. I mean, we saw Shane losing a pretty much secured podium by a puncture on the penultimate lap. Luke losing it because he didn't want to risk that puncture, and so much going on. We've had a crash between the two race leaders, and Tim in the end taking the win here in Brazil.
What a crazy race. Crazy race. You wouldn't have said this at the start. You wouldn't have said Tim takes win, Tom Joe takes second, and Matt Romano takes third. You wouldn't have said it, but it happened, and just insanity.
I can't believe what I've just witnessed. I mean, this was crazy. Crazy
from P19.
race.
Tom Joe from 12 and
my screen just shows a picture of the Brazil track. So thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to invite people now.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I don't even know what questions I could ask them.
I can't even see the full race results.
Oh.
I've just been sent back to the lobby, but that's fine.
What a race!
Yeah, I mean, we the racing itself wasn't that great, to be honest, this race, but we did see some good excitement, I'd say, and excitement doesn't automatically equal good racing, which we saw today, but that sometimes you can't have great races all the way through the season, so there had to be at least one that isn't the most amazing one. But it was solid. It was solid, not gonna lie.
It was still a good race, so I'm pleased with that. I don't know. It was a good race. It just wasn't quite living up to the usual F3 standards. But as our podium runners are joining the party, so that's good. We can
I think
get underway straight
that was
away.
a good way to put it. Actually, it hasn't been the greatest race for F3 standards, I say, but I think we've just had so many great races this season that we were so used to amazing races that this just seems a bit more dull than it actually was. But now that we've got our three very surprising podium finishes here, we will start off with Tim, who takes his second race victory, not only of the season, but also of your IRL career. First of all, congratulations. And did you think you would be standing here in the interviews after this race because of your race win?
Normally I thought for P2 or P3, and when I flag for P1, yeah, here I am, winning my second race. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, you were quite consistent though. It looked like you were really quick throughout the whole race, basically. Obviously, the safety car was helping you quite a lot after that first round of pit stops, right on the first couple of laps. But apart from that, I think you were almost all race long up front, and then you had a battle with Paul Farthing. It did look that clean from both sides, to be fair. Just talk us through what happened from your perspective.
Between me and Paul, there was, I think, a lot of heat because of we was today battling for the P2 in the drivers and in the constructor championship. Yeah, it was not really 100% clean, but most of them, then we touched each other. Was in my eyes a racing incident. Just yeah, it wasn't 100% clean, but in the end, yeah. I don't know what to say. There was a lot of hit in and yeah, aggressive driving from both of us, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really blame a particular one in that situation. I would say it was, like you mentioned it. It was pretty heated, but sometimes that is the case in racing. And still, you finished the season off in the best possible way with 25 points in the bag. Great race and a great way to end the season. And what are your expectations going into next season or next year's game then?
Yeah, just keeping my consistency, building over the short break, more pace and pace, and get a feeling for the new game coming out in July, and then we will see next season where I am, and yeah, I will do well, and hopefully next season I can aim for a position like this in the standings too.
All right, so congratulations on your second race win, and good luck for next season.
Thank you.
All right then, Jack, what do you take our second placed driver today?
Okie dokie, Tommy, that.
Yeah, me.
Good. Okay, so I'm not really sure what to ask you as everything happens so fast, but P2 from P12 on the grid, I noticed you were kind of fighting around the mid-pack during the race. Did you ever think about some people's tyres going off towards the end? Was there anything... Did you really expect to be on the podium?
No, definitely not, because I had wing damage about 50 laps, so I thought I'd be lucky to stay in the top, like, 8, to be honest, but... No, I wasn't really concentrating at some point, and then at the end I started to realise that with penalties I could get a bit further up, started concentrating more. Then, yeah.
Fair enough. Is this your first podium of the season?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Yeah, so previously, like, I've got unlucky in places and just like, to be honest, like bad racing sometimes. But then, yeah, I got a bit lucky today, I suppose, with the some of the people who are usually higher up in the grid. They got a bit unlucky, so gave me some luck.
How does it feel getting your first podium though in IRL? So?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I feel like it's, well, I feel like it's like deserves over the. In the past, I've got unlucky, and I feel like it's deserved now. Got a bit further up with the points that I should have had in the past. So, yeah.
Well, very well, congratulations. But looking towards the next game in the next season of IRL, do you think that in F3 you're going to be able to continuously challenge for those podium places coming into the next game?
I'm not sure about podium, but I'm hoping to be in the points more, and having a full season next season, because this year I joined something that halfway through. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, congratulations on your P2 today, and I'll hand it back to Felix to take P3.
Thank you.
So, Matt, you came close a couple of times this season. You've always been known because of your consistency in races. You missed out, I remember, in Germany by a 3-second time penalty. I think you missed out in Austria by around 1 or 2 tenths, I think, from a podium. And now you've got it in the final race of the season. How does that feel?
It feels really good. It's surprising because I've been working a lot lately, so I practiced nothing this week. So I was just happy to finish the race in general, but I'm glad the podium came out of it in the end.
Do you think the rain today helped you, or do you think it could have even been on raw pace today when it would have stayed dry?
I think if it stayed dry, I would have been further off the leaders because I was only like half a second, 0.6 off like the best lap there, so it wasn't like too bad on my part today. But if it was dry, I would have been much further off.
But your whole season was basically. I don't know if you qualified. Did you qualify once? I think you never qualified. Did you?
Nope.
Yeah, you always purposely started from the back of the grid, but you always seem to, most of the times, seem to be very consistent and somehow still get some pretty good points. And like I said, you came close. And with that being the case, and you staying out of that trouble into turn one on the first lap, do you think you can get even more of good results in the next season on the next game?
As long as people keep cutting corners, I'll keep passing them at the line.
All right then. So consistency is key. We showed that
Yes.
today, and yeah, huge congratulations on your podium. I'd say yeah, well deserved over the whole course of the season, and I wish you the best of luck for next season as well.
I appreciate that, and thank you guys for doing comms for the season as well. It's been very good watching the races back.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure for us as well. And with such kind words being said, I think, Jack, obviously we weren't there from the start. We had Bran commentating the first race, then we've had Sondra and me commentating. I've been there nearly all season long, though. I only missed 2 races as far as I'm concerned. But and those races I commentated, I always had a lot of fun. If it was with you or with Sondre, I think F3 has always delivered, and I hope next season is going to be no different.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I only did 4 races, but those 4 races were absolutely fantastic. 3 of them with you, 1 of them with someone else. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this season. It was, it was Sondre. It was Sondre.
Yeah.
Yeah, this season, it was really good to commentate on. Hopefully I'm back for next season commentating with you again. F3 did not ever disappoint. I mean, this race may be a bit more disappointing than before compared to F3 standards, but it wasn't a boring race, so I'm very happy with the way this season went. Hopefully, next season is going to be even better.
Yeah, I don't think there's much room for improvement. The only thing we could wish for is a title fight till the last race. But yeah, like you said, I think we've been in for a treat in F3 in general this season. And next season is hopefully going to be equally as good. But the new season obviously won't start until the new game comes out. So in the meantime, in that break, we will try to get some new things up on the channel. So be sure to pay attention to the IRL channel. There might be something coming up. But I don't want to spoil anything right now. So yeah, it's been a pleasure this season. Thank you, Jack. Also, thank you, Sondre, for, if you are still watching, for commentating the first half with me and for replacing me
And
last
to the
week.
admins.
And what?
And to the admins, we should thank for.
Oh yeah, obviously for the
For
admins.
the work they do.
They've done a great job once again getting all the reserves in, making it possible that we almost every week had a full grid. And I think it's been a great season. It's been a lot of fun. So thanks to all the drivers as well for entertaining us every week and putting up a great show for us. And I think with that being said, take care everybody, and hopefully we will see you next season on F1 2020. Until then, goodbye.